Now, why is this important? It's important because it forms our policy as a country towards Tehran and its terror arm, the IRGC. The IRGC murdered 55 Canadian citizens and 30 permanent residents by firing an unprovoked missile at a civilian commercial aircraft, PS-752, over 3 years ago. Let's get this straight. This group operates legally on Canadian territory. It can recruit, coordinate, mobilize, fundraise legally on Canadian soil over 3 years after they murdered 55 of our citizens. What is our Prime Minister thinking? It's time to ban the IRGC. Common sense Conservatives will continue to press the government to ban the IRGC, to remove the bureaucracy and streamline the funding for the Security Infrastructure Program so that shuls and all places of worship, including mosques, churches, Hindu temples, can put up the security to protect their people. This should not be... I think it is appalling that a mosque, which was targeted by an anti-Muslim violent attack in Mississauga 2 years later, still does not have funding to protect itself against future attacks. I think it is appalling when I hear synagogues and churches are buried in paperwork for what should be a very simple rebate program that will help all of our places of worship secure themselves with cameras, personnel, and other necessary things that will keep them safe in an increasingly dangerous world. Here at home, we will bring in tougher laws to punish terrorists. We will bring in consecutive rather than concurrent sentences so that those who carry out mass murder will not get bulk discounts for the number of murders they commit. And just as we will keep our streets safe with jail and not bail for repeat violent offenders, and we will secure our borders. We will secure our borders and our ports against the drugs and guns that finance terrorism and that lead to the loss of life here in Canada. We will stand with the Jewish people on campuses fighting anti-Semitism at universities. Common sense Conservatives will also defund anti-Semitism. We will go line by line through all the groups that get dollars from the federal government, and we will defund every single one of those that promote anti-Semitism in our country. And then comes the difficult question of the Middle East. Now, I understand why the political pressures are high, and I understand why our Muslim friends and neighbors are suffering and are legitimately speaking out for the suffering of their loved ones in Gaza and in the West Bank. There's no doubt that the Palestinian people have been made by the Iranian regime and other dictators in the region into a chess piece in an evil chess game. We know that there are dispossessed Palestinian families. Many of them have loved ones here in Canada. My heart goes out to them. I believe that we should ensure that Canadian aid actually goes to the suffering Palestinian people and not to those promoting terrorism in UNRWA. When our government sends money to UNRWA, it commits to an organization whose members were involved in the attack of October 7th, and it takes money away from legitimate aid to real Palestinians who are suffering in Gaza and in the West Bank. We, as a rule, across the world, common sense conservatives under my leadership will be cutting back foreign aid to terrorist dictators and multinational bureaucracies and using the money to rebuild the Canadian Armed Forces. Thank you. We will continue to stand up for the right of Israel to defend itself. We will do that. And we will reject any motions and resolutions before the United Nations that unfairly target the Jewish state. We believe in a negotiated two-state solution with Palestinians living in peace and harmony next to a Jewish state, where we build prosperity, liberty, and opportunity for both peoples, and where all the Abrahamic peoples have access, unhindered access, to their places of worship. But we say, I want you to know, I say all these things in mosques. I do go to mosques. I love meeting with the Muslim people. They are wonderful people. And when the issue of Israel comes up, I say, I'm going to be honest with you. I am a friend of the state of Israel, and I will be a friend of the state of Israel everywhere I go. We can no longer have the two, because we can no longer have this business of saying one thing to one group and another completely different thing to a different group. That's what we have. I mean, Justin Trudeau has come up with this political formula, right? He sends one group into synagogues to say one thing, and then he sends another group of MPs into mosques to say precisely the opposite. But here's the thing. Individual MPs don't have a vote at the UN. Individual MPs do not make decision on how foreign aid is distributed. Individual MPs do not have the ability to speak for the entire Canadian government on the world stage because there is only one Canada. So that formula, while it might make for good politics to have one individual MP who says the right thing in order to get a seat back and keep Justin Trudeau in power, does not solve the problem of having Canada take the right and principled position one position for all of Canada, one position around the entire world. So every MP has to decide where they stand, not just what they say. And that stand is ultimately what matters the most. Now, Conservatives will stand with you. I know that it's hard right now. Many of you feel alone. You feel scared. You question whether you should take your mezuzah off the door, the Star of David off your chest, the kippah off your head. I can't even imagine the thoughts that go through your head when you contemplate such things. No one in Canada should ever have to hide their faith in order to feel safe. I want you to know that you're not alone in these struggles, that you have friends. You have friends. I want you to know that you have friends not just in the Conservative Party, but across all of Canada. who will stand with you and will fight for you and work to protect you.